What's up, guys? Welcome to another video from beautiful Marbella. We're here in Puerto Banús, and I'm gonna talk to you today about a principle, about the golden triangle. This principle I'm gonna teach you in this video is responsible for me literally becoming unstoppable. And if you understand these concepts and apply them to your life, you are going to become unstoppable. Unstoppable in your journey towards your goals. Okay? The people that don't understand this stuff, the people that focus only on the strategies that need to be also understood and applied, also on the physical work that they need to be doing in order to reach their goals. And I'm not talking only about money. Goals, of course, when it comes to business, just comes to health, fitness, well-being, relationships, your character, okay, the place where you live, the people you hang out with, whatever you're trying to create. If you don't understand these concepts, you're going to literally sabotage your ability to reach your goal. Okay? I didn't know this stuff always. Didn't always know this stuff. I'm an immigrant. I came from a third world country here, looking for a better life, and I just came with a dream. Literally, I just came with a backpack, very little money, and a dream, and I wanted to build a life here. And I've been through a lot of shit, but because of my understanding, or I don't know, because of my intuition, maybe God guided me and pushed me towards learning. Having mentors, books, seminars, investing thousands of dollars in my education. I started to understand these concepts, and these concepts are literally responsible for every goal I ever achieved so far, and for the goals that I'm going to achieve in the future, and for the balls that I have to shoot for big goals that will scare most people. Okay? So listen up. This is a lifelong experience. I'm not the wisest person on the planet, but I know a little bit. Not too much, but I know something. So listen to this. The golden triangle. The first part of this triangle is responsibility. I'm going to explain each one of these parts, but just hear me out. First part is responsibility. The second part is focusing on what you can control. The third part is operating as your higher self. I'm going to explain each one of them. Okay, first thing first, responsibility. You need to learn to take responsibility for everything in your life. Everything. The good and the bad. The sweet and the ugly. Take responsibility for everything. Be a man, be a woman. Okay, even if there is a circumstance, something that you are not responsible for, however, you have to take responsibility for that thing. You might be born in a shit third world country, like myself. Okay, already looks like summer here in Marbella. We got people with French rap, bro. All right. So first thing, responsibility. Take responsibility for everything. Leaders always take responsibility for everything. And if you want to accomplish something in your life, you have to become a leader. Leader of what? Leader of yourself first. You need to lead yourself first. Okay? So you need to take responsibility for everything. Even if it's something that you were not the cause of, you still have the responsibility to change it for the better. Okay? Maybe you're born in poverty. You have the responsibility to change your mindset. Maybe you're born in plenty of wealth, but you're like literally a marshmallow. You can't value things. You're entitled, or you're just soft because everything was handed to you. You have the responsibility to create a version of yourself that you're proud of. You need to create that man that you're proud of, or that woman that you're proud of. You have the responsibility to change that. Okay? Maybe some people did something bad to you. They harmed you. They stopped in your way. Economy, country, whatever it is. You have the responsibility to change that, to improve. Okay? A CEO of a company is responsible for everything that happens in the company. Even if it's another employee that does the mistake or ruins the company's reputation, it's the CEO's responsibility. Okay? Because he should have seen that, foreseen that employee might do something wrong. Maybe he selected the wrong employee. Maybe he didn't give him enough training, enough care. Maybe he just was not there for his employees, and he didn't show them, he didn't make them feel like at home. Okay? And even if he did all those things and still the employee fucked up, he has the responsibility to change whatever happened, to make it better, okay, and rectify what happened. This is the CEO, and he's CEO because he takes responsibility, okay? President of a country, he's responsible for everything that happens in the country. Even if people do all sorts of crazy stuff and whatever, he's responsible for the country because he's the CEO. He's the president. He's responsible. Okay. That's why we have him there, because he's able to take the responsibility. And you have to do the same thing. You have to take responsibility for everything. For everything. Okay. Something you don't like, you're responsible for it. Something you like in your life, you're responsible for it. You know? You're a good person, you think you're a good person, well, good. You're responsible for being a good person because I don't know, your family told you well and you worked on yourself and you believed and you act like a good person, and good. It's great. Maybe you're afraid. You're a good person, but you're afraid. You don't have belief, or you're responsible for changing that. Okay? Maybe you're physically weak, you're responsible for changing that. Maybe you're poor as fuck, you're responsible for changing that. Maybe you're not working on your dream, you're responsible for having balls, developing a strong character and being able to put goals, worthwhile goals, and go for them. Okay? Maybe create your own business, live from your passion. Find a suitable partner, develop character, develop confidence. You're responsible for everything. Okay? So the first part is responsibility. You're gonna take responsibility for everything that happens in your life, even for things that you don't understand. Second part, focus on what you can control. When you focus on what you can control, two things happen. The first thing is that you start actually doing something positive. Okay? Think of your goal. Think of whatever you're trying to achieve. There is right now some things that you can control. I know that there is a lot more things that you can't control, but we're not going to focus on that at the moment. You're going to focus only on what you can control and start using those things that you can control and improving on them. Okay? First thing that's going to happen is that you're going to start acting positively. Maybe you're responsible for, maybe you can control, and I'm sure 100%, everybody, you as well, you can control your physique. You can control your health. You can control being in a better shape, healthier, stronger. You can control that. You need to learn how to do it, but you can control it. You can control the information you intake. You can control the people you hang around with. Okay? You can control that. You can choose to no longer hang around with your friends and family members that are negative and they're not supporting of your dreams and they're just gonna put you down. So you can control not hanging around them anymore, or at least not as much as you used to do. You can control what you read. You can control what you listen to. Okay? You can control the quality of the work you do right now, even if the work you do right now is not what you want to do. But you can control the quality of what you do right now, because if you give your best in whatever you do, soon you're gonna move to a different position. You're gonna find a way to create your own thing, or you're gonna get promoted, or something else will appear. So the first benefit of focusing on what you can control is actually you start taking positive action. Okay? The second thing is that you're going to start to attract more things that will help you in your quest. There is a law that says wherever focus goes, energy flows. So whatever you focus on, your energy goes that way. So when you focus on what you can control, your energy goes towards things that you can control. And you will start attracting things from the same nature, things that you can control, things that will help you reach your goal. So when we focus on what we can control, more things that we can control will appear. Okay? You're starting to move the wheel in your favor. Even if almost everything is against you. You don't see the way. but you focus on what you can control, and you start acting on that. Okay, wherever focus goes, energy flows. You start attracting to yourself things from the same nature, and soon you're gonna find that in your life there is more things that you can control. Every time there is more things that you can control, that you have control of, and this will help you, will lead you towards finding the path, finding the way towards your goal. Okay, that's the second part. The third part is that you need to operate and act from your higher self. Your higher self. Your higher self is that version of yourself that you're trying to create. It's that enhanced version of yourself. That version of yourself that that you dream about becoming. You need to have that defined on paper. Define that version of yourself. What do you do as that version of yourself? How do you look? The way you dress? How is your physique? The relationships you have, the money you have, the business you indulge in, or the businesses you have, or the work you do, the relationship, the place where you live, the energy you have as well, the way you feel about yourself, your idea about yourself. Define it. Define the actions that you partake in as that higher enhanced version of yourself. What are the actions that you partake in? And define also on paper. Do this exercise. Define also the actions that you do not partake in. The actions that are no for you. The action that higher version of yourself never partakes in. Okay, because they're not helping you become better. Okay, so when you have that defined, you start acting from that place. Taking actions as that higher version of yourself that you've defined on paper would take. So when you're in a situation where you need to make a decision, you think about that higher, enhanced, beautiful version of myself, strong version of myself. How would it act? What kind of decisions would it make? What is the thinking process of that version of myself? What is the choices that this version of myself is going to make? Okay? You act from there. You walk as that person. Walk on earth like that version of yourself. Feel like that version of yourself. This requires practice. Requires discipline, because you're gonna have to put some work on yourself to actually get closer to that version of yourself. Maybe you're gonna need to change the way you dress. There's something you can change immediately. Change the places where you hang out. Okay? Change your physique. Change the people you hang out with. You start acting as that version of yourself. As that version of yourself works, it wakes up early and works and improves every day, As that version of yourself reads, goes to seminars, builds character, builds knowledge, You start operating as that version of yourself. And that version, that enhanced version of yourself, is deserving of the goal you want. Because you literally cannot get to your goal from the place you are in right now. As the current version that you are right now, there is no way you can get to your goal. Because whoever you are right now, your character, your mindset, your energy, is responsible for everything that you have created so far. You need to understand this, that the internal world is responsible for the external world. It's responsible for your results. So if you're gonna get different results, and I hope that you have great dreams, you shooting for great results that are worthy of you, you're gonna have to operate from a different place. You cannot operate as the current version of yourself right now. It's not a match. Okay? It's against the law. It's against the law of vibration. It's not a match. Your goals are here. Your current version of yourself is here. You need to operate. And before operating, understand that higher version of yourself. What is it? How does it feel? How does it work? How does it work? How does it walk? How does it talk? Once you understand and embody that version of yourself, now you're a match to your goal. Now you're operating as that person that is deserving of the goal you're shooting for. This will attract to you people, circumstances, knowledge, information, opportunities, stuff that will bring you closer to your goal. Okay? This one took I took a lot of time to understand. It took me a lot of time to understand this last concept, because it's not an easy one to grasp. So I invite you to review this video, and after a week review it again. Okay? Each time you review it, you're gonna hear something different. You're gonna learn and understand something different. So we said, take responsibility for everything, focus on what you can control, and operate as that higher version of yourself. Okay? If you do this, things will change. If you do this, the path will clear. If you do this, you will become unstoppable, because you will understand that you will have evidence in your life that will prove that there is nothing that can stop you. And I've been through some tough moments. I've been through some situations where I couldn't see the way out. When you looked at the outside circumstances, there was no way out. But because of the little awareness I had back then, and because of my because I studied, I understood, and I trusted that there is a way. I just can't see it right now. So my job is to keep operating as the higher version of myself, stay in that vibration, take responsibility for everything, so I won't fall into victimhood. Focus on what you can control and act on it, because the more I act on something that is positive, the wheel will keep moving, and I will attract to myself more of the positive actions that I can take that will lead me closer to my goal. Okay, guys? So if you like this video, share it with somebody else that might need to hear this information. Follow me on IG. I share daily stories and wisdom every day. You have my WhatsApp. DM me if you're interested in coaching, if you're interested in creating that version of yourself that is capable of reaching your goal, that is unstoppable. Talk to me. Tell me what is the situation, and I'll see if I can help you. Okay, guys? Till next time, stay strong and be unstoppable. See you in the next one. You can click on it.